Good morning, greetings, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures if you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be. But you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system, the human body is a healing system, it's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis, and while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, we welcome your phone calls. If you want to get off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you do that. If you have a success story you'd like to share, if you want to contribute to the conversation, if you have a question about something you may have heard about, read about, somebody told you about, we can help you. 844-236-6010 is our number today and every day on The Bright Side, 844-236-6010. If you're interested in purchasing any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program, recommended on the program, please head over to brightsideben.com or criticalhealthnews.com or pharmacistben.com. You can order products right off the website. You can also call the phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. Make sure you ask them about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine powder you add to water and drink. Now, Beyond Tangy Tangerine tablets as well. We're going to be talking to Richard Renton at the bottom of the hour, by the way. Richard Renton is the formulator of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. He's the formulator of a lot of the longevity products along with Dr. Wallach, and he makes the longevity products. I've known Richard for almost 20 years. Some of you guys out there know who I'm talking about. Anyway, Richard will be coming on in the bottom of the hour, and we're going to talk about the powder BTT versus the tablets and other things as well. Talk about some of the shellfish stuff I want to ask Richard about. And we'll just have a nice conversation at the bottom of the hour about some of the longevity products from the horse's mouth, straight from the horse's mouth. Richard Renton will be on at the bottom of the hour. We'll get your calls here in our next segment. 844-236-6010 is our number. So call in now. We'll get your calls here in our next segment. All right, so we're talking about fats. We're talking about the skin, fatty vitamins, essential fats. That is fats that are like vitamins in the sense that they're essential. There's two of those, omega-3s, omega-6. Fatty nutrients from plant. Collectively, they're called phytonutrients, plant nutrients. These fatty nutrients go by the names flavonoids, as in bioflavonoids, or carotenes, as in beta-carotene. Some of you may have heard of zeaxanthin and lutein. These are all carotenes. They're fatty nutrients from plants. And the fact that they're fatty is really, really important to keep in mind. And I'm going to tell you about that here. If not here in a little bit, we'll talk about that tomorrow. The fact that these plant nutrients are fatty, it has humongous implications for aging or for problems with aging, for bone problems as we get older, for skin problems as we get older. The fact that fatty nutrients from nutrients from plants are fatty, the fact that there's these powerful fatty nutrients in plants is incredibly important when it comes to wrinkles and hyperpigmentation and photo damage that accrues with age, because these fatty nutrients are protective. Carotenes, flavonoids, pigments, greens, reds, yellows, they're all protective. And yes, they are colored. The fatty nutrients, a lot of the fatty nutrients are colored. And then, of course, there's the fatty hormones. The steroid hormones, our sex hormones, our fertility hormones, our building hormones, our stress management hormones. These are super duper duper important for anti-aging. And what does all this have in common? Fat. So, if the fatty hormones and the phytonutrients and the essential fatty acids and vitamin D and vitamin E and A and K, these nutrients are so darn important and they're so tricky to work with, And many of us are suffering from deficiencies in these things, and they're so involved with anti-aging and skin health and our appearance. Don't you think it makes sense to understand what exactly is a fat? What exactly makes something a fat? What's the distinction between fats and non-fats? Of course, non-fats are, for the most part, water, and that's the basic chemical distinction in the body in terms of biochemistry. Fat-soluble, water-soluble, hydrophilic, lipophilic, whatever terms you want to use. What is it that makes something hydrophilic, water-soluble, water-loving, watery, liquidy? And what is it that makes something fatty? That is really, really important. I mean, if you consider the incredible relevance of fats to our health, or lack of fats to our ill health, then maybe we should be figuring out what the heck what is it about fats, and what is it about liquids and waters, and what is it that distinguishes the two? All right, so basically what you're talking about here is electricity. What makes something a fat and not a water, or an oil and not a water, is electricity, or more specifically, pieces of electricity called electrons. Now, I don't like saying that word electrons because it freaks people out. Everybody, I'm sure some of you guys tune out already when you hear the word electrons. And I don't mean to go all chemistry here, go all Dr. Chemistry on us, but the fact is you got to understand some of the very, very basics. The fact that we don't understand the basics makes us vulnerable and weak to predators, and there's a lot of them out there. And some of them aren't even mean-spirited. They're just as ignorant. They're just ignorant too. So we got to understand at least the basics. Electricity, it's all about electricity always anyway, but the key distinction between fats and water is electricity, little pieces of electricity called electrons. In a fat, these little pieces of electricity are spread out. They're dispersed. There's a more even distribution of the electrical energy in a fatty substance or an oily substance than in a watery substance. And the fact that the electrical energy is more dispersed in a fatty substance than it is in a watery substance makes all the difference in the world. This is what it's about. The fact that these electrons, these electrical energy, electrical pieces are spread out makes them sticky. It makes the fatty substances have more stickiness to them. They have more attachments because the electrical energy is dispersed. In a watery substance, the electrical energy, the pieces of electricity, are pulled to the side. That makes them much less sticky. That's why water's not sticky, and that's why oil is sticky. That's why if you have peanut butter and jelly on a knife in the sink, the jelly's going to rinse right off, not the peanut butter, because the peanut butter's electrical energy is dispersed, so it can react with the knife in what has more attachments to connect with the knife, and it's not going to rinse off. And this makes a fat much trickier to work with than a watery substance. This makes lipophilic or fatty substances very difficult, or relatively difficult, for the body to process. But it also makes them extremely important because they're great storage devices for electricity. Fats and oils store electricity. That's why we cook with them. That's why they accelerate fires. That's why we run our engines and our cars on them. Because fats and oils, gasoline or any oil or any fat, really, you can run your car on grain fat. There's people who do. There's countries who do that. You could run your car on anything that's got an oily nature to it because it's a storage device. Oily substances have a very effective ability to store electrical energy. That makes fats very important, number one, and it makes them very tricky to work with, number two. By the way, this idea of electrical energy either being spread out as it is in an oil or accumulating on one side as it is in a water is called pulling, because the electrical energy is pulled when it comes to water, and it's spread out when it comes to oil. Now, they don't say pull, really. That's kind of a colloquial term. They say pole, polar. And a watery substance is said to be a polar substance. And a non-polar substance is a fatty substance because everything's spread out. And that has a huge implication when it comes to our health. And I will tell you about that when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. 844-236-6010 is our number. We're coming back at you with more good health information and your phone calls right after this break. Don't go away.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
guys in the Indianapolis area, I'll be doing the Indianapolis Jamboree along with Richard Renton and Cheryl Morley and a bunch of other longevity folks, the Pitcocks. For longevity, we'll be talking about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and nutrition and health and wellness, etc. If you're in the Indianapolis area, check out the Midwest Jamboree, Indianapolis Midwest Jamboree. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 12th, 13th, and 14th of November. You can probably just Google Midwest Jamboree Longevity Midwest Jamboree. Our number 844-236-6010. Hang tight. We'll get to you here in just a minute. Got Richard Renton coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk about the formulations, some of the longevity formulations, and especially we'll talk about the difference between the tablet, the new tablet BTT, and the powder BTT, and we'll get Richard, the formulator of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, along with Dr. Wallach. We'll get his take on what exactly is it about the tablet? Why did they even come up with the tablet? And I also have a few other questions I want to ask him about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. So we're talking about the fatty nature of substances versus the watery nature of substances. Fatty substances have their electrical energy dispersed. Watery substances have their electrical energy pulled. So they're said to be polar. Non-polar, fats are said to be non-polar. Polarity is huge when it comes to how effective, how important an active ingredient will be, and a skincare ingredient will be. And understanding the nature of polarity is unbelievably important if we're going to make good decisions about what to buy. This is one of the reasons why, in the world of skincare, most ingredients are ineffective, because of polarity and non-polarity. And we'll finish this up. We'll continue this tomorrow as we talk about fats and oils and fatty hormones and how they impact the skin. It all has to do with the skin. At least for the time being, we're just going to be sticking to how things interact with the skin, even though we do take lots of digressions on the bright side. Okay, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening, friends. Let's go to Michigan. Talk to John. Thanks for holding on so long, John. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, it's okay, Ben. Ben, I'd just like to get some information on what someone could take to help create an environment for procreation, for having a baby.
For conception, for making a baby.
Perfect. These people live in California, and I'm not sure if they drink the California water or not, but I've been out there, and it's pretty horrendous.
It is horrendous. Are they Northern California? It's really bad up north.
L.A. area.
Okay, it's probably bad there, too.
It is brown water, but does the thyroid factor into fertility?
Oh, heck yes. Here's the thing about fertility. This is the most important thing about fertility. I was listening to a gal yesterday on TV, and she was talking about how she had a baby who was born preemie, and she said, well, we had tried to have a baby 8 times, and we kept having miscarriages. Finally, we got a baby, but she was born preemie. Well, here's the deal. If your body is under duress, and that duress can be emotional, it can be mental, it can be nutritional deficiencies, it could be food toxicities, it could be blood sugar, etc. If your body's under duress, your body will not make a baby. Your body's not stupid. We're stupid. The body's not. The body is way smarter than we are, and it isn't going to want you to make a baby if it doesn't have enough nutrition, if it doesn't have enough, if it's toxic from sugar. Make no mistake about it, sugar's a toxin. If it's malnourished, if there's toxin coming in through the digestive system, including sugar, if it's hypoxic, that is low blood oxygen, or if it's under mental or emotional duress, it ain't making a baby unless you force it to with drugs. You follow me? So the way you deal with fertility issues is by calming the body down and providing it with all the nutrients it needs. Just to give you a classic example, progesterone. Right? Pro means in favor of. Gest means pregnancy. Pro and own means hormone. Progesterone is a hormone that's in favor of pregnancy. It's your pregnancy hormone. So using progesterone cream is absolutely incredibly important for somebody who's having a problem with a baby. And, oh, by the way, progesterone cream calms the body down. You follow me? Okay? Before you have a baby, before you attempt to conceive, take a hot bath. Okay? What is that going to do? That's going to activate your fertility nervous system. It's going to calm the body down. You have a back rub, have a foot rub, a foot massage. Everybody's trying to get, couples who are trying to conceive a baby should be relaxing maximally before they do their business, before they try to make a baby. You follow me? calming the body down. Now,
Dr. Ben, you mentioned vitamin E too, and I think.
Well, hang on. I'm going to get to that. Hang on. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
great.
Oxygenation is also very important for calming the body down. So deep breathing before you're making a baby. You understand that you got to relax the body entirely. Back rub, foot rub, hot tub, deep breathing, even eating a meal, like not depending on what you're eating, of course. Okay. Now, as you asked about vitamins, nutrition, absolutely, because nutrition tells the body it's safe enough to make a baby. All right, so the reason nutrients are important, all of them, is because they tell the body all is right in the world. It's summertime on the African savanna, time to make a baby. So yes, nutrients are key, but not just vitamin E. We'll get to vitamin E here in a second. All your nutrients, your macronutrients, protein. Protein tells the body it's okay to build. Fats, their electrical energy, as we've been talking about, making sure you're on your ultimate EFAs, making sure you're doing your slender FX and whey protein and egg and fish, and then also making sure that you're getting enough good carbohydrates from vegetables and phytonutrients for that matter. Then you have your micronutrients, your vitamins, your minerals. Yes, vitamin E is incredibly important. Tocopherol means to bear children. It's your fertility vitamin. Why is vitamin E a fertility vitamin? Because it protects sperm cells and egg cells from damage. So yes, 400 IU of vitamin E a day is a must-have for anybody trying to get pregnant, in addition to progesterone cream, in addition to good protein and essential fatty acids, in addition to carbohydrates from vegetables. And then, of course, your minerals are also important. Zinc is probably the most important mineral for making a baby. Selenium also plays a role in thyroid health, and that's important for making a baby. Sulfur, MSM sulfur. Get on the Healthy Start Pack. Take extra doses of the ultimate EFAs. Make sure you're working on the digestive system. Use the probiotics, the Biolumin Nightly Essence, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Make sure you're using your Fucoid Z to coat the digestive system and thin the blood. And then I'd probably throw in some Ultimate Enzymes after meals and the Ultimate Daily as well if you're doing the longevity products. Stay away from problem foods. These are all from a nutritional and physical standpoint. But there's also the emotional and mental issues as well. You got to calm the body down physically, and you also have to calm the mind down and the emotions down as well. You got to kind of calm everything down so the body can feel like it's safe enough to make a baby. Last but not least, progesterone cream. Make sure that you're using that, and then there's no reason that if you do everything I just said, including the hot tubs and the foot rubs, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to make a baby as long as you're fertile.
Is that the same protocol, Ben? Is that the same protocol for the man?
Yes, absolutely the same protocol for the man. Absolutely.
Okay.
Both the sperm and the egg are important.
Should she be taking prenatal? So the woman...
It wouldn't hurt her. The Ultimate Daily is good. Once she gets pregnant, she might want a little extra nutrients from the prenatal. That wouldn't hurt her. But it's not like that's like a cure for infertility. But yeah, it wouldn't hurt her. The whole idea here is to provide the body with what it needs. In that sense, it's the same as any other health challenge. You guys, you got to be hearing me say the same thing over and over and over again. I didn't say anything to John that I wouldn't say anybody who had arthritis or Parkinson's disease, because it's the same thing. Really, there's not a lot of different things the body needs. It's basically the good nutrition, macro and micronutrition, staying away from the toxicity, and that includes sugar, deep breathing, mental and emotional and spiritual strategies for that matter. And that's pretty much it. Health is simple, you guys. That's the bright side message. Health is simple. All right, we're coming back with Richard Renton right after this break. Don't go away. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back. We're back on the bright side. Thank you for being here, friends. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com. You'll find all the longevity products up at brightsideben.com. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team, brightsideben.com, also pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com. All right, I'm so honored to have our guest on. Richard Renton is my formulation hero, my formulating hero. Richard is the guy behind the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, probably the best formulated product I've ever seen in 30-plus years of being in the business, being in the health business, the nutrition business, and the formulating business. As a fellow formulator, I know a good formulation and a good formulator when I see him, and Richard is one of the best, and it's an honor to have him with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Rich.
Oh, it's great to be on with you, Ben.
Good deal. So I've got all kinds of questions for you. First of all, most important thing is Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which I just absolutely love that product. I've seen so many incredible things with it. First of all, before I even get to my question, what is your take on the BTT? Why is it that people get these kinds of unbelievable, almost bordering on miraculous kinds of results in terms of weight loss, in terms of energy, in terms of getting off their prescription drugs, in terms of appetite suppression? What is it about the BTT that's so fabulous? And you don't have to tell us all your secrets, but just a couple. You don't have to, not the real deep secrets, but just a couple of the basic reasons. What is it about that product?
I think it just falls back to Dr. Wallach's research. And if you provide your body with all the tools it needs to fix itself at optimum levels, it's just amazing what it can do without artificial chemicals or drugs. And I think that what we've created with Beyond Tangy Tangerine, BTT, along with EFAs, is a optimum program to provide your product in a way that's very palatable so that people don't mind taking it on a daily basis. Because you and I both know I could take lots of vitamin C once a week, but by the end of the week, my body's starving for it. So it's kind of like we need a constant drip if you want to do that. We want to have a leaky faucet of nutritional products constantly going into our body. And I think that Beyond Tangy Tangerine is just a core-based product that people accept and use on a daily basis.
That's well said. I always say IV drip. It's like you're in the hospital and you want an IV drip, just the nutrients coming into your body, steady state. And that's what the liquid does. That's what the powder does. And that's one of the neatest benefits is you got so much nutritional value in a liquid that you can drink. But on the other hand, we now have the BTT tablets. And I get a lot of folks talking about the BTT tablets. So I personally think that the powder's the way to go. Tell us about what you were thinking when you came up with the tablets, and what's your take on tablets versus the liquid?
Well, we always like to listen to our longevity distributors and the feedback that we get from them. And there's just a certain percentage out there that were not happy with the flavor, or they weren't happy about this or that. Or it wasn't convenient for when they travel. And so what we did when we came up with a tablet is to slightly change the formula, but put it in a tablet form so it's easy to travel with, or for those that are palate sensitive, easy to swallow, so to speak. And so that was the idea behind the tablets. Now, I will say this, it's a great antioxidant at an extremely simple dose, but I still prefer the 2.0 powder version more, just for this one main core reason. In the tablets, and it's a volume game, how much room do we have in the tablets? We only have 50 milligrams of the organic plant-derived minerals. And in the powder, we have 300 milligrams. So we literally have 6 times more. And so for that reason and that reason only, for a multivitamin daily supplement in the conveniency of your home, I prefer the powder still. But, there again, as I mentioned, and you mentioned, the drip with the hospital. Personally, I hate going to hospitals and I hate getting dripped.
Okay.
So I'd much rather have a leaky faucet.
All right.
Just getting that constant flow of good nutrition products in our body is the optimum thing. Now, the plus with the tablets, or one of the pluses I like, is that, as you know, and I'm sure you've talked on your calls, certain nutrients enter your body in certain parts of your digestive system. Some early on in the small intestine, some in the colon and whatnot. And by us using the new bi-level technology, making it so one dissolves right away and one's a little more time released as it travels through your body, we actually can focus that aspect. And that's why I feel the tablets are nearly as absorbable as the powder when it's in a liquid state, is because we're able to delay it so that it's released in the area that'll be most optimally absorbed into your body.
So there's like sustained release factors and slow release factors in the tablet?
Yes.
Got it. High tech. All right.
High tech.
So how about the Ultimate Daily? Where does that fit in your opinion?
Well, Ultimate Daily was one of my first designs that I did for Dr. Wallach, I'm going to say 19 years ago now. And with the new technology, I just prefer the new tablets. there is a couple of exceptions, and that's for people that want like mild chelation therapy and whatnot, and they're looking for more niacin and hawthorn berry and some things like that. So we've actually come out with a new product called Niacin Plus to pick up those areas, so that when you take your 90 essential nutrients and you want to clean out your arteries a little bit, you can either take the Cardio Sticks, which also has it, or the Niacin Plus. So I think Daily is a great multivitamin. We simplified it a little bit so that we can actually get it into foreign countries, such as the majority of the EU and Canada. But as far as bang for the buck for our listeners in the U.S., I think the BTT tablets are better.
Now, are you saying that you can use the BTT tablets instead of the Ultimate Daily and get the same kind of nutritional value?
Yes, with the exception, if you're looking to do it for a mild chelation therapy that Doc spoke about for years upon years, the new formula of Daily won't do that. You need to switch. But it's a convenience thing. But, you
mean the new formula,
the Classic. A lot of people still like Ultimate Classic. But I believe the powders are better, and the powder more or less replaces the Classic. So I feel that the BTT tablets more or less replaces Ultimate Daily.
Okay, now you threw a little curveball at me here. The Niacin Plus, I hadn't heard about that. That's got
what's on my drawing table. Do you?
I know, but I'm happy to hear this. This takes advantage of Doc's chelation ideas.
Yes,
the Niacin Plus.
And
what's
so
it? Tell us.
It was released. It's in the back office with Longevity about 2 weeks ago. But Ben, you can probably talk to people and explain to them about Niacin Flush. Even though it's a non-flushing form of niacin.
Right.
One tablet has 500 milligrams of niacin in it.
That's awesome. Is it time release?
No, it's a standard release program. And it also has a protocol of the hawthorn berry plus some other herbs of 100 milligrams in there. So, and I'll tell you, because you'll be able to explain it to your people, it's got 40 milligrams of hawthorn berry, which is the idea behind the mild chelation therapy. So it's really a cardio product or artery product. And you can piggyback it, and it just came out weeks ago. I got
a bunch of stuff I want to ask you about that. We got to take a break, Richard. We'll be right back. Hey, have you heard of the book Left for Dead about hawthorn berry? Rich?
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone beeped in.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back after this break. All right, we're going to continue with Richard Renton. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back after this. We are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to formulator extraordinaire Richard Renton, the man behind many of the longevity products, along with Dr. Wallach. And Richard, before we went to break, you were talking about this Niacin Plus, right? You said PLUS Plus. Okay, and then you said something about the Niacin Flush. So I want to talk real quickly about that. Are you using you said you're using the non-flush niacin, right?
Correct.
And then,
it's not,
but it's a big dose.
And maybe some of your listeners know, even though it's non-flushing style of niacin, when you start talking about 500 milligrams,
you still might get a flush.
You may get a flush.
Not that it's bad, by the way. Not that there's...
Oh, no. In fact, a friend of ours, Dr. Edmund DeVois, while he was still with us, actually wanted to flush because he said it would pull Puritans out of your cell.
It actually is a vasodilating effect that you're feeling, so it's a good thing. You're getting more oxygen, more blood, but it does feel a little funky. So, but you're saying that doesn't happen all the time because it's the non-flush kind of niacin.
It would maybe be a 1 in 100 scenario.
Okay, yeah. If anybody does get the niacin flush, by the way, don't freak out. It goes away. It's not a bad thing, and it's actually a sign that you probably needed a lot of niacin and your body sucked it up really quickly. Niacin, by the way, and this is probably what you guys were thinking, Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, as far as the cholesterol thing and the statin, niacin is like a statin, is as effective as a statin drug when it comes to lowering niacin, lowering cholesterol.
Absolutely.
That was the thinking. So you got the hawthorn berry for chelation, and before we went to break, I was telling you about a book called Left for Dead by a guy named Dick Quinn. He wrote it back in the 1980s, and it opened my eyes up to the power of hawthorn berry. Doc, of course, has been talking about hawthorn berry for the heart. But there's a lot of really, really good literature about the benefits of hawthorn berry for a lot of things, really, but also especially for the circulatory system. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the glucogel, about shellfish allergies, and I keep hearing about that with the glucogel caps. So the glucogel caps are yay or nay on shellfish?
Yay.
Okay, so there's shellfish in the glucogel caps. Any way that somebody with a shellfish allergy can still benefit from some of the incredible multifunctional benefits you get from the glucogel?
Well,
or are you just out of luck?
If they are highly so the active ingredient that's derived from shellfish that's in glucogel is glucose, and it's commonly found in two sources. One is exoskeleton seafood shellfish, such as shrimp. Ours is shrimp, and the other one is a vegetable form. And so when we first started with Youngevity, the vegetable form wasn't even around. So if you're highly sensitive to shellfish, I probably wouldn't do glucogel, because there is people out there to get anaphylactic shock from it. Obviously, I don't want anyone to go through that scenario. But here's a rule of thumb, and there's a couple exceptions to the rule. If in the title of the product is the word Beyond, such as Beyond Tangy Tangerine or Beyond Osteo FX, the glucosamine sulfate form is vegetable.
Ah, interesting.
If it doesn't have that word, and there's a couple exceptions to the rule, glucogel, it's from shrimp shells.
Okay, so you're not going to do a Beyond glucogel?
You know, you and I both know that's kind of up to Steve. We've proposed it.
Okay.
Steve kind of scratches his head on it because it's about a 30% increase in cost.
Okay.
And, he goes, what are we going to do? Because, and that's just, what it costs to make it. And so now it's in his ballpark. Is the formula sitting on his desk? Yes. Samples been made? Yes.
Okay. Okay, but theoretically it's possible.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now, so I'm glad you brought up the Beyond Osteo. What if somebody doesn't like the taste of the Beyond Osteo effects? What do you suggest?
Next one I tell them to try is the Cal Toddy. And then after that, I have them go to the Ancient Legacy King Cal.
And speaking of taste, what's your take on diluting the BTT less than on the directions for people who don't?
Either way, personally, I mix mine in warm water, and I do about 10 ounces of water per scoop, and then I constantly drink it throughout the day. So I dilute it more than the average person. If you want to make a paste out of it and eat it, go ahead.
How about have you heard about it?
We want a little bit of water in there so that we can start getting the solution done. But if you want to make it thick like molasses, it will work just as effectively. If you want to dilute it and put 1 scoop in a quart of water, that's fine too, just as long as you take it.
What are your? Now, I know you have some kind of clever little recipes and kind of foods that you can blend in the BTT. I heard you do a talk once and you had some ideas. Why don't you share a couple of those ideas with us?
Well, the trick on any nutritional product, if it has vitamins in it, that especially the oil-based or fat-based vitamins, you don't want to heat it for a long time. In other words, it isn't good to, per se, bake with those things. However, putting it in smoothies, putting it in slushies, putting it in with fruits and vegetables.
Well, what's a slushie? Give me a slushie recipe.
Slushie, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, oranges, and I like some tartness, so I usually put in some raspberries, and then a little bit of water and about a cup of ice.
Interesting. Now, how about freeze pops? Have you ever done freezer pops or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And from my sports medicine day, I learned a trick, and you'll laugh at this. So you get the small, 4-ounce Dixie cups.
Okay.
And you put water in it, you put a tongue depressor in it, and it makes the best icing tool if you ever have a sore joint.
Oh, how clever.
Yeah, that's clever. So, but I do the same thing when you can make BTTs, and you can make a popsicle with it. You just add their favorite fruit with BTT, and make the popsicle. And then the trick is that you take a warm cup of water, and then when the Dixie cup is still on it, you dip it in the water so it warms the cup out, and then the lollipop comes straight out.
Now, how about lollipop's another good one, by the way, if you could figure that one out, how to make it into a candy kind of?
But then you got to add sugar and whatnot.
You got to add sugar, okay. Sugar. Okay, how about, I hear you. How about with gelatin and making a Jell-O? Can you do that?
Absolutely. You would, the trick on that one would be is that you would make your Jell-O, let it start to cool a little bit, drop the temperature down, then whisk in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, put it in whatever molds you want to put it in, or pie dish, and then cool it quickly after that.
Now, wasn't it you were telling me you put it in your vodka? No, I'm just kidding, Richard.
No. Sure you can. I mean, alcohol won't damage it, and
I actually do put it in vodka.
You can convince your relatives maybe to have it. Go for it.
It's healthy vodka, and it will take care of your hangover.
Vodka. Just a real quick story. My father was never good about taking vitamins and minerals, but whenever my mother asked him, "What do you want for dinner?" he would always go, "Served." And so she just got in the habit of always just putting it in front of him before the plate went down, and for some reason it disappeared every day. Now, he left us a couple of years ago at 92, but after World War II, they said he wouldn't live to be 30.
Is that right? That's amazing. That's amazing. So he was on all the supplements, I'm sure, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's great. All right, so got about a minute here, Richard. Anything new around the corner, anything to be excited about that we can look forward to?
Well, being that it's the cold and flu season, we have the immune support pack that's out, which is a combination of beta-glucan and zinc and vitamin C and things like that, and easy travel packets. We also have the brand new zinc lozenges to help people with that.
Awesome. Sore throats?
And I also always remind people, don't forget about PureWorks and putting a squirt in your hand when you leave the house and putting a squirt in your hand when you come home, so that you don't spread, because most people get colds because they make contact and then they put their hands to their face or mouth, and boom, you got it. So don't forget about that during this time of the year especially.
And now the zinc lozenges are already out. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Man.
You don't talk to me enough.
No, I don't talk to you enough, Richard Renton, but it's a pleasure to talk to you whenever I do talk to you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Indianapolis at the Midwest Jamboree this weekend. Thanks so much, Richard, for coming on.
Oh, it's great to be with you.
All right, talk to you soon, buddy. Take care, man. That's Richard Renton, formulator extraordinaire, and I mean, I'm not kidding you guys. He is an unbelievable formulator. If you're in longevity, we're all lucky to have Richard Renton. Thanks for listening. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about fats and the electrical nature of fats and the electrical nature of water, and then we'll start talking some hormone stuff as well. If you're interested in checking out my Truth Treatment products, please go to truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Check out our Retinol 5% gel. And, of course, if you're interested in any of the longevity products, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful, awesome, beautiful day. Bye for now.